You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Big Brother After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Big Brother After Show.
Hello, everybody. If you are tuning in to AfterBuzzTV.com, you've come to the right place because this is the after show for Big Brother Season 16, Episodes 9 through 11. I'm your host, James Wallington. I'm so glad to be back in the studio tonight.
Welcome back, James.
Thank you, Ryan. We are down with Francisco and Keaton. They're out doing their things, but
They got
I'm joined
evicted
tonight with the one and the only.
Hey, Ryan Hooks here, guys. Welcome. Thanks for coming in, tuning in. It's good to see you.
I miss you.
I missed you. I'm glad you're back.
Thanks.
That was an abrupt music ending.
That was.
Bow.
I hope people understood our little
Oh yeah, the
intros
intro.
that we did.
I did the Frankie.
And I did the Zach.
So we're the Frankie.
Okay, so we're not the only two here tonight. I mean, at the table we are, but
If you're watching live, then you see our faces.
You see just the two of us. But we do have a special call-in guest who is staying up tonight from the East Coast. Thank you.
Yay.
He is from season 11 of Big Brother and the video game expert, who's also a self-proclaimed extreme survivor, extreme Big Brother fanatic. Hello, Ronnie.
Hi.
Hey, Ronnie, what's going on?
How's it going?
Not much. It's doing pretty good. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Of course. I've enjoyed following your tweets this season and hearing what you have to say, and I figured we had to get you to call in.
Sure. I love talking about Big Brother.
I mean, I feel like you're the super fan, then you would just continue to love talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Before we start and talk about the episodes, I just want to know, what have you been up to since your season of Big Brother?
Just went right back to working at the school with my wife, doing theater and the speech and debate team. That's it. Just been doing the same thing I was doing before.
Nice.
Back to reality, right?
And you said you're in a musical right now, which is great.
Mm-hmm. Yep, doing 9 to 5, the musical right now.
Very cool.
I don't get to be on stage very often, so I love it when it happens.
Well, good for you.
That's
Glad to
excellent,
hear things are going well. And who right now is your #1 favorite on this season?
Oh, I love Nicole.
Yes.
I do.
James loves
The
Nicole
nerd
too.
girl.
Yes. That doesn't surprise me,
The
though, Ronnie.
Michigander.
I love her, and and the thing I love about her, because do you guys watch the feeds? I don't know if you watch the feeds or not.
I follow Big Brother Leaks, so I know something.
I don't want to ruin anything, so I don't watch the live feeds.
She's incredibly perceptive. That's what I love about Nicole. She seems to be right on it. When something happens in that house or the dynamic shifts, boy, she's right
She
there.
picks it up.
She senses it.
Which is good. I mean, that can help you. She's kind of like an in-between sort of floater, but sort of not. She's going to drift for a while, I think.
Right.
And she didn't really have to get her hands too dirty this week with the eviction. And
right.
So she kind of got lucky how that all fell out for her.
Well, since we are speaking about Nicole, let's just dive into Sunday night's episode 9, where Nicole was one of the 2 HOHs alongside Derek. And I was super excited when Nicole won HOH.
Of course you're super excited.
Super excited.
I'm super nervous. I'm super scared. I'm super excited. Everything is... I like her, but every time she talks, because everything is super, or all her conjunctions, but...
You're right. It's the Michigander
I think it's a
accent.
Michigan thing.
It is totally a Michigan thing.
It is. I got rid of mine since moving to LA. So
you speech trained it out of you, but it's sometimes I'm glad that after she got kicked off the HOH block, they didn't talk to her as much, because I was just getting tired of hearing but.
Yeah, that's true. She did do that quite a bit.
Since you just said super, it's rubbing off on you.
But one thing, like you said, Ronnie, is Nicole is a pretty perceptive player. And I think right away when she won, even though she's a super fan of the game, and I probably would have freaked out winning HOH because that's such an exciting moment. And you won HOH on your season, so I'm sure you can relate. But with Nicole, Nicole immediate was like, I feel like winning HOH this week was awful because I don't want people to put me on their radar. And I think that's so true,
Yeah.
you know, because she's been kind of lying low for a while. Not necessarily a floater, but not on people's radar.
Yeah, and that's something, she was right about that. That's something I didn't realize before going on the show, is that HOH is really bad to win in the first 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
you
really
won in week
bad.
2, right?
Huh?
You won in week 2.
Yes,
Do you
I
think
won
winning
HOH
that
week
early
2.
put you up, you know, because you got voted out in the 4th week, that was the reason you got put on the radar so early?
No, I because of the way I was and what I was doing, unbeknownst to me at the time, I was already on a lot of people's radars. But see, what I should have done, and this is something unique to my season, is if I had thrown it, that Michelle Noonan would have won it, and I would have been immune for the week. So effectively, I would have had HOH. I couldn't have been nominated. So I was dumb. But see, at that point in time, I guess this is something like unique to Big Brother. All I was thinking was, I want to eat. Like, because I've just been a have-not, which is a very real thing. I was thinking, I just want to eat. So I was thinking win-win-win. I wasn't thinking strategy.
That's
Right.
funny. We were laughing. 2 weeks ago, we had Bunky come in. He was on season 2, and he was talking about when they had the haves and have-nots in season 2. The food for slop was peanut butter and jelly, and he's like, "Oh, I was like, just peanut butter and jelly. Who cares?"
I miss
and,
the peanut butter days.
and they've changed it so much now to the frozen
Yep.
oatmeal and corn and all the other gross stuff.
Have
they
you
had
ever
to use.
had slop?
You know what, though? Hey, Ronnie, I'll actually relate it to my experience on Capture because we had pretty much watered-down, disgusting oatmeal. So every time I see slop, that's what it brings me back to.
And no,
when I
have
was
not had
watching
slop.
your show, James, I thought that. I told my wife and said, that looks just as nasty as slop.
Yep. Yep, it was awful. We lost a lot of weight.
Hayden likes it, so that's good.
Right. Well,
But he's lying. He wants to look good. He doesn't really like
He's
it.
just like so happy to be
he
there.
wants to be on Survivor. That's what he kind of projected tonight.
Oh, see, he's campaigning. There you go.
Already.
He's going to be the new Hayden Moss.
Right? Switch over. Well, he's got to get Kat first.
Right. Well, continuing with the Nicole talk, we immediately see at the beginning of that episode, Nicole and Derek come together and they want to discuss nominees. And what did you guys think about their nominee talk? Did anything surprise you about who they were throwing out there as far as names?
No, it didn't really surprise me. But again, I watched the feeds, so I kind of knew exactly where they were headed anyway.
Sure.
But her reasoning behind Donnie kind of shocked me, because I don't know, I would be looking at Donnie if I were in the house. I know everyone loves Donnie, but I immediately focus on those people that try and play the, oh, I'm so likable angle, because those are the ones that I want to get out.
Those are the
because
ones that win.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
These
I
are
agree
votes.
with you. What shocked me the most, though, was Caleb thinking that he is the cowboy stud and that cowboys are all about taking risks, and he
This-
just kind of throws himself
This
in the
third
nail.
person beast mode cowboy thing that's been going on. Like, everyone's in beast mode, and we're a beast mode cowboy. Like,
It's annoying. And it's so funny how
kinda
you
annoying.
see kind of a shift from the first week where he's like, I'm not going to throw any challenge because it's beast mode cowboy. And then all of a sudden, because Amber's clouding his judgment, he's immediately willing to throw Battle of the Block to keep her safe. Like, what are your thoughts on that, Ronnie, as a player of this game? Do you think that was smart on his point, or is his judgment really clouded?
Oh, no, definitely not smart. I mean, you, having been in a house, and I'm sure it's the same with any similar thing, you never throw a competition. I would never throw a competition where I might go home. Maybe an HOH if I really felt safe with who was left, but when you're on the block and you're doing something like the Battle of the Block, why would you ever throw that? You could go home.
yep.
Well, especially since he's so full of himself as a competitor, you think that if he's already acknowledging, well, I'm a competitor, I'm strong, and I'm tough in this game, that other people aren't noticing that as well? Like, I would be threatened to even be on the block if I was in Caleb's
You know,
shoes.
we got beat by Donnie in the POV contest. I think
Yeah, how can he be beast mode? He won one competition and Donnie beat him in the veto.
it was
like-
the very first competition he won.
And speaking of Donnie, we did see Nicole talk to Donnie about what she should do for nomination. She goes to him thinking, okay, maybe we can work together because I like Donnie, and kind of pick his brain on what the nominee should be for her. And I thought it was funny. She flat out said,
Don't
this
say
stays between. I had to go back.
I
because
did-
Later
I did
on,
too.
When they had that exchange, like, oh, did I tell you? Did you tell
She
me
told
not
me
to
that.
say
I was
anything?
arguing with the TV about it.
Yeah, and she said, this stays between us. So that means don't repeat this.
Right.
And don't forget too, before that even happened, that Devin actually reveals the bomb squad to Jocasta, Brittany, and Donnie, basically just telling them that it exists. And do you think that was like a cowardly move on his part?
I think it was dumb. I just don't think Devin's much of a thinker.
So
Like, he just kind of says.
Well, so last week we got into this debate because there's been all these rumors floating around about Devin and a drug addiction, and we started talking about the fact that he had allegedly it was addiction to Xanax, which is an antidepressant, and he actually said
Right.
this week he was in rehab. Like on the episode today, he said when I was in rehab, they said it was good. I was
Right.
young. I was getting better. I wonder if like they're giving him medication controlled, but like to change his personality.
Well,
I don't know if I'd put that
the
past
only
CBS.
medication you can have in there is the medication that you basically have to function.
Right. What
And
if
it's
I feel
prescribed.
like if you have a depression problem or anxiety that you would need that.
Maybe that's why he's smiling all the time.
Well, like, but he like the way he was Sunday versus the way he was in today's episode. Like he was really calm and
Right.
cool and collected. You know, when he was talking to Cody and breaking down like what was going on in his life and how he was excited to see his daughter and all that. Like I feel like I almost wonder if he's getting his meds irregularly.
Or maybe Devin was just very humbled by, okay, well, shoot, I'm no longer
Yeah,
in
he just-
charge. And so he knew he had to mellow it out.
Right. That too.
I think that could be it, but see, there's this phenomenon in the house, and I saw it happen the 3 weeks before I went. Eventually, and it even happened with me. There seems to be this point in the house where you're going home, and you just kind of accept it.
Ashley said the same thing last week. Like you pretty much know who's going home that before it happens. So
Yeah. I mean, you hold out hope. I was campaigning right up until the last minute before
Which-
we went live.
And we saw
But-
Joey doing the same thing. Like at least she was trying,
Right.
Yeah.
to fight her way back. And I feel like it's almost
Yeah.
like you just gave up. But also I heard somebody said during the live feed that Devin actually said this week he wanted to go home.
Whoa.
He did say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I heard that too.
Well, maybe it was for the best interest of him and his well-being. So maybe he did the right thing.
Maybe it was the right thing.
Not only for him, but for everyone and us as an audience.
So I do love though my favorite thing from Sunday's episode was when Nicole was talking about how nervous she was about nominating people, and she's like, "Where's Pow Pow when you need her?"
Yes.
See, that's why I would have kept Pow Pow.
You need a
said that
victim.
last week.
Yeah.
Now that Pow Pow's gone, who's going to be at the bottom like her?
Yeah. Who's the victim?
No one,
now?
really.
Victoria.
But we
Yeah.
quickly see with nominees, Derek and Nicole nominated their two people. Donnie was surprised that he was nominated by Nicole, but I felt like obviously Nicole had a good reason for nominating Donnie in the first place. Donnie went and go to blab to the
Yes.
girls the
Yeah.
plan.
Went right to him. Which
Yeah.
I thought that was
See,
a justifiable
that's the thing
reason.
about that house. You can be safe, and then at the last second, someone will do something stupid, and it changes the whole thing.
Right.
Like Donnie probably wouldn't have been nominated, and then he did that, and then Nicole's like, "Well, fine, that's an easy reason. I'll nominate you."
Well, it seemed like Donnie was very forgiving, understanding where Nicole, I mean, kind of when they had that conversation.
Right.
But
She
nominating
cried,
Amber
as
as the
always.
second nominee was the smartest thing
Oh,
for
yeah.
Nicole to do without getting blood on her hands, just because it's kind of returning the favor.
And we talked about it last week too. Like it was, we picked pretty much 3 of the 4, and Donnie was like the missing one. And it was basically she didn't know who to pick. She had a reason at the last minute that made her get emotional, and she just went with it. And actually, I noticed. So they had a hashtag this week, hashtag man tears. Did you notice that Zach and Cody were crying during Derek's letter from his wife?
Oh, yes.
And so it's interesting. Like so many people in the house are crying all the time.
That's true. I think it's starting to get to the best of everyone.
Everyone's starting to get emotional.
And Derek nominated Jocasta and Caleb. And I thought it was just so interesting how quickly defeated, almost in a sense, not because Jocasta was sick, but she cried all the time about being nominated. You would think since you're nominated against one of the strongest guys in the house, you would kind of feel a little bit a sense of
Or
security.
with him.
Yeah, nominated with
He was your
Caleb.
partner. He was the best competitor in that competition.
It's almost like you'd think, okay, we're going to win. Or if I do lose, Caleb has more of a chance of going home over me. She was just so
Right.
emotional over everything.
I mean, maybe that was because she was sick.
What are your thoughts on Jocasta, Ronnie?
I seem to like her enough. It's just, I don't know. I don't like floaters.
Yeah.
I don't like, and she is like floating supremely right now. I mean, come on. She had Donnie win the veto for her. She didn't even have to win the veto for herself.
So, in your opinion, is she the biggest floater in the house right now?
I was going to say that.
No, that's Victoria. That girl's floating so much, she's like under the woodwork. She's
Wait,
hiding
who?
underneath the house.
Ronnie, who are you
Not even up
talking about? Who's Victoria?
Victoria who?
I'm sorry. No, really. What's your name?
What?
No, really?
That was great.
She has gotten pretty much no diary room time at all.
She was on camera on Wednesday's episode for one clip, and it was only after the Team America completed their mission and convinced them that Zach was related to Amber.
Right.
Or I'm sorry, Amanda. And she's like, I knew it. Like, that was her one diary moment.
Yep, that is true. And then I was just thinking, really, you did not know that because you're not really playing the game or you don't seem very invested.
Nope.
See, if I worked in the diary room, I kind of want to work in the diary room and call her in and be like, I'm sorry, who are you and how did you get in the house?
Yeah.
Wait, is there security? Get this
Yeah,
girl
no
out here.
joke. Like, I want to know what the casting choice was with Victoria because I'm just not seeing anything from her that makes her a good candidate for reality television. I don't. Nothing at all.
She kind of see, and that's the thing that people is always interesting. I mean, you went through the casting process in your show, James. And,
Yeah.
and, people act certain ways when they're going through the process because they pick up on what the show's wanting, whatever. And I think Victoria's one of those people that once she got in the house, she was like, nah, that's all out the window. I'm doing my own thing now.
Oh, you know what?
Like,
Yeah, I was just going to add on to that from my experience, too. I feel like you are 100% sometimes yourself with the casting process, but when you're thrown into the situation that you thought you were prepared for, you may take a step back, not realizing, like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? You think you're excited and you're ready for it. And maybe that's the case with Victoria. She's probably excited throughout the whole casting process. But now that she's thrown into the world of the Big Brother house, it's probably overwhelming for her. So it's changing who she is as a person.
Yeah, and plus, she was nominated right out the gate, right? Yeah, Frankie nominated her.
Yes.
Right, and I think maybe like in real life, like she's probably attractive, but like there's more attractive people in the house than her. So like she's in a situation that she's probably not used to, and she's uncomfortable.
Right.
Being.
Yeah.
And there's no way for her to reach out to get attention that she probably is used to getting as well. She becomes introverted.
Well, Frankie and Victoria had a funny exchange, too, on Sunday night's episode when Frankie started talking about his sister, Ari, and then Victoria just kept pressing him with questions. And I was really hoping in that moment it would cut to a diary room where Victoria's like, I know pop culture, Frankie doesn't fool me, and I know Ari means Ariana Grande. I was really thinking that's
you were
why
waiting
she was.
for that?
Yeah, I was, because she kept pressing all these questions, and I'm like, she knows. She totally knows that Ariana
doesn't know
Grande is
anything.
Frankie's. Nope.
Victoria's
She's totally
a stone.
oblivious.
I don't think anyone knows, and I don't think they're gonna figure it out. Like I feel like with Ariana Grande, like her music, but you don't know what she looks like enough, probably to put the two and two together.
Well, actually, this is something that I wanted to bring up with you guys, just to see what you think. I think if Frankie wins HOH, with the photos in the room and stuff, they should put a picture of Ariana in there. Because everyone else gets family photos. I don't understand why he's getting an exception just because Ariana Grande is his sister. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, did you see her tweet about that just a bit ago?
No, what'd she say?
Oh.
Yeah, a little bit ago, because people were tweeting, because, Big Brother fans are extremely online rabid. And
they're crazy.
They dig into everything.
That's why we love you guys.
But they were tweeting her saying, so are we going to see your pictures in the HOH? And apparently, I'm not sure if it was from her Twitter account or Frankie's, because she's running it right now, but she tweeted that production would only allow baby photos of her in the room. They will not allow grown-ups.
See, that doesn't seem fair to me.
Right.
That is like protecting Frankie's game, and that's changing his game and making it easier for him compared to the other house guests. Like Frankie knew signing up for this game that he was going to have a disadvantage being Ariana. Well, not even a disadvantage. No one really cares. Let's be honest about it.
It's not gonna
Ariana
affect
Grande
anything.
being his sister doesn't affect his position in the game whatsoever. No. So it's annoying to me that production is hiding this when they're not hiding anything else about anyone else whatsoever.
Well, I don't think anyone would notice, and I'm not trying to diminish Ariana Grande, but it's working with kids in high school. It seems like that's more the demographic that knows
Yeah,
her.
it's not
Does that make
that's what I
sense?
mean. I don't think you would know what she looks like. Like if you saw a picture of
No.
her, you probably wouldn't know who it was. Like
Honestly, I'm one of those people. I know her music, but
right,
I've
yeah,
never
you
seen
know
a
her
photo of
voice, you know her music, but if you saw a picture of her with Frankie in a family photo, you would not put together
Right.
who she is because you're not watching Disney
Right.
Channel and you don't, they did a thing with her on TRL recently for her album launch and there were some pictures of her floating around, but it wasn't the demographic that watches Big Brother because there's an age
Right.
gap in there.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would affect it at all.
I mean, it's not like Beyonce where you see the picture
Right.
and go, oh my God, you know Beyonce?
I mean, not diminishing Ariana Grande's success at all, but she's not an A-list recognizable celebrity yet to the point where you see her and you know who she is immediately.
Right.
You see her and you're like, I know that girl. Where have I seen her before?
Exactly.
She looks familiar. She's something. She an actress, a singer, or something. I don't know. That's
Yeah. But I definitely know her music because
Right.
I asked the kids. I said, "Who is she?" And they're like, "Oh, this song." I was like, "Oh, I know that song."
yeah. You know her
Why?
songs. So I mean, and she's getting there. And I think with her album out, she probably will get there, but just not yet.
I just wanted to voice that opinion about Frankie because I just feel like that's just production,
Right.
securing his strategy, which doesn't seem 100% fair to me. But moving forward to the Battle of the Block,
Yeah.
I loved the Battle of the Block challenge. I thought it was funny.
It was fun. So what do you think about with Caleb volunteering to put himself up so that Amber can get knocked out? That's the pressing question. It's the burning.
Well, I mean, just to kind of comment, I love all the competitions this season. I
I do
think
too.
whoever they have, they've really upped their game in that regard, and I love them. I would never, ever, ever, no. Just don't ever volunteer. Don't ever throw anything, especially considering that girl doesn't even like him.
No.
He's trying so hard though, super hard.
I'm not even sure if I can say this, but he's coming off very thirsty.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah, he's starving. And he commented a couple weeks ago about how he has people. He's getting lonely. He has people he can call to come over, like just straight up saying he's got booty calls. But
Oh, Caleb.
so the thing that was funny to me though, and I was thinking about it when he was talking about, yeah, dude, I'm gonna be like a straight G, like looking all cool, like I'm gonna volunteer to save you. You know what? If you're a G, you wouldn't have told her.
No.
You would have just
wouldn't
done
have.
it,
Yeah.
saved her. You're welcome, and just kept it to yourself.
Amen, Ryan. That is very true.
That's how a
That is
man does
true.
it. So, you know what? I'm doing it for you, but I'm doing it for you because I want to do it for you, not because I want people to know I did it for you.
Right. But, I mean, you have to hand it to him. And he looked like he was really putting effort into the challenge, which is what Nicole said. She's like, if Caleb's really throwing it, then he's doing a good job at hiding it. So you got to hand it to
Right.
him that way. But Amber and Donnie win. I thought it was really corny how they put in the special effects of the wand on Nicole.
and she disappeared?
And then Nicole disappeared. I was like, that is just kind of corny. I don't know.
And then Hayden's like, "Is she really gone?" Like
But
clearly
that's
she
like
just.
a Big Brother thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Remember last year they did some of that with the one where they made the dinosaur egg?
Yeah. I thought it was a little hokey.
All right, one more thing from Sunday that we need to talk about is Team America.
Oh, Team America.
They got their mission.
I forgot because I'm already over it.
You're already over Team America.
already over Team
I feel
America.
like I feel like it's not gonna last really long.
No.
But their mission this week was to convince other house guests or get other house guests to spread a rumor that someone in the house currently was related to a former Big Brother house guest.
Mm-hmm.
So they decided to choose Zach and say that she was related to Amanda.
I thought it was just very interesting that people bought it so quickly. Of all the people you think Pow Pow is going to share that information, like why would Zach open up to Pow Pow with that information? Like I would have called BS
Yeah.
from the get-go because Zach's made it very clear he's not a big fan of Pow Pow.
Well, as you've seen, other than when they talked about it a little bit on Wednesday when they were doing it, no one's mentioned it again.
Well, I think it's funny because Zach admitted it.
I know. He's like,
not
"Oh, yeah."
that they're
Yeah.
really
That was
cousins,
the
but
best
he's
part.
saying that he
Yeah.
is.
He didn't deny it really.
No.
That was, I think, a great thing to do. Who cares?
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
If they really wanted to sell it, though, they should have said Christine was related to McCrae
Oh,
because they really look a lot alike.
that's true because people keep calling her the female McCrae. That would have made things very interesting. I probably would have fallen for that one.
Yeah.
Well,
They should have done
they won $5,000, so good for them.
Yep.
All right, so moving on to Wednesday.
Nicole's a frog.
Nicole's now a frog on Wednesday night's episode, the Power of Veto episode. Yeah, Nicole's a frog. Jacosta's sick, throwing up because
Derek's
of the
got his
heat.
eye on the prize.
Yeah, Derek's got his eye on the prize. And now this is when we kind of see Caleb actually being super creepy towards Amber. I was a little taken back. I'm glad. I mean, I saw people tweeting that this is probably the truest edit they've seen with Caleb and his relationship towards Amber. Would you agree with that, Ronnie?
Well, he did wear her dress as a scarf and
Weird.
a dress as a do-rag for a whole couple of days.
Weird.
So.
That's just weird to
I
me.
did like, though, going back real quick, when he was dressed up in the Battle of the Block competition, and he said he looked like a Harry Potter on steroids when he had the glasses on.
I can kind of see that, actually.
I saw it as soon as they showed it. I was like, oh my god, he looks like Harry Potter on steroids. I totally see that.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Didn't mean to cut it in and jump ahead.
No,
of
I just
things.
realized too. We already talked about Team America and Zach
Yeah.
not denying that he's Amanda's cousin. That was all.
Because that was all Wednesday's
night.
episode, right?
We were just excited to talk about Team America.
Well, and they were talking, and the thing too. Then Caleb, at this point, he's questioning him throwing the competition. Like, was it the best idea?
But he keeps saying Beast Mode Cowboy. You
Yep.
probably could have made a drinking game out of the amount of time
Beast
he
Mode
said
Cowboy,
that
right?
on Wednesday
That's
night.
I commented. Yeah, and
We
this
should
is
start making this a drinking
This
game
is when he
for us.
tells Amber about the fact that he actually threw the competition for her, and she got really weird. This is like the second or third
So
time
weird.
she's got awkward, and they've been together alone.
But you know what? Here's the thing with this relationship. I don't think Amber's doing a good job either. I think she's definitely kind of leading him
Encouraging
on.
it,
And
yeah.
I get sick and tired of her diary rooms when she's like, oh, I don't really like him like that. It's never going to happen. But then you see some sort
Them
of
play
cuts or
fighting
edits.
or
Yeah, and
hugging
she
or-
jumps on him and hugs him or kisses his cheek. Amber's not doing a good job. If she really hates how forward Caleb is or how he's behaving towards
Yeah.
her, she wouldn't be doing that kind of stuff.
But she can't. It'll ruin her game. If she says, "You know what? Leave me alone." She's got to keep him on the leash, or he's gonna hate her and then want her out. It's
I
gonna
get
be
what you're
awkward.
saying.
So it's almost like she has to let it go
Yeah.
for herself, for her game.
But I think you can let it go. You can still be yourself around him, but not go that far.
She goes too far. I agree.
Yeah.
When she hugged him.
Because now I just don't feel sorry for Amber because she's putting herself in a position to be creeped on. What do you think, Ronnie? Hello?
Do we lose him? Okay. Maybe he's gone. That's okay.
Oh.
We'll keep on keeping on.
Okay. So.
POV contest.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, Ronnie. So we were just
Hey,
talking.
there I am.
We were just talking about Caleb and Amber. What are your thoughts? Like, do you think he's creeping on her too much, or what's the deal?
Well, it's a little creepy. Having watched the feeds, I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter. They talk about Amber Alert for her.
Getting kidnapped.
That's good.
Did you see the creepy photo that they took in the photo booth?
See, this is what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
We were just commenting on how she kind of leads him on. She doesn't do anything to push him away.
Like, what is she doing?
She's hugging him.
I mean,
and-
I guess I'm choosing to believe this. Maybe this actually isn't true, but I'm just choosing to believe this. I want to think she's being very perceptive, and she's kind of playing into it to try and use him as a shield.
I was just saying, like, she can't blow it up because it's going to blow up her game and she's going to get voted out because of it.
But here's the thing. I feel like if that were the truth and that were the case, she would have talked about it in a diary room. Why hasn't she said
Yeah.
it? She just keeps saying, I don't like Caleb like that. You know, it's never going
Maybe
to
she
happen.
has and they cut it out.
But why, though? If that's part
Maybe.
of the game, I mean, that's true. But I feel like you would even hear her say it on the feeds. And no one's really pointing that out.
Yeah.
So, to me,
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if she's
She
really
hasn't
being
said
that
on the feed,
perceptive.
I don't know.
So, all right.
But it
so-
is creepy. I agree.
for the Power of Veto competition, you know, Jocasta's so sick she can't even compete. Bless her heart. She's crying in her bed. Donnie's helping her and saying, I'm going to win this for you. They randomly draw from the thing, and Derek pulls Christine. Caleb pulls Devin, which I was like, please, that was an obvious one. Jocasta pulled, Jocasta obviously is not competing, but Donnie was drawn for Jocasta's place. It looks like a pretty good lineup for the Power of Veto. I was excited to see it play out.
I was actually really excited about the next scene in this episode when Derek pulls Donnie aside to kind of see where he's at.
Right.
And Donnie holds out. Like, he didn't give information. And that actually, to me, is showing more about Donnie's strength of his game. As a super fan,
Yeah.
he's likable. Everyone likes him. I mean, Team America obviously voted for him. He's playing a pretty smart game in the aspect of he's not giving out too much information, but he's gossiping just enough. You know, people are confiding in him.
I love Donnie, but the one thing I kind of get frustrated is I don't feel like when he's in his diary rooms, his words are his words. A lot of it seems very scripted or like force-fed lines to say, like, I don't. There was something he said in the episode about Jocasta where I was just like, "Oh, really? Like that doesn't seem like Donnie talking. That just seems like something that seemed convenient for him to say for the sake of story." Does that make sense, Ronnie?
Yeah, it does, but I think I know exactly what you're talking about, but I think that's maybe just Donnie thinking. I don't have any other way of saying this. This won't sound bad, but it's not bad.
You can sound bad.
I think that's Donnie's way of. He thinks he sounds witty. Does that make sense?
Oh,
He's like trying to be funny, and he's got because they were saying all those.
Yes.
He has all those one-liners.
you know, now that you say that, I can see that. I just was looking at it from a very cynical
Of course you
reality
were.
TV perspective.
Oh no, I understand. Yeah, and I probably would view it the same way. But having been there and knowing the mentality of people specifically in the BB diary room, sometimes people think they're being funny and.
Well, see,
forced
this is
instead.
why we like having people call in from the show to share their experiences with us,
insight,
because I
yeah,
would have
thank
never
you.
known. So thank you, Ronnie.
Or it could be force-fed scripted. Either way, we still enjoy Donnie's conversation. Let's just call an apple and orange and see what happens.
So Cody is the host of this Power of Veto, and it's really cool. They have to get in these giant dice, and then they're going to spin
This was
the
a cool
wheel
competition.
to get the number, and then whatever number is on the wheel, they had to
Flip the
roll
dice around.
and then get back on the platform with that number being at the top. I loved it. I thought it was very challenging, not only physically, but also mentally
Yeah,
as
it was
well.
a good combination of both.
So we go into it. Christine's randomly chosen as the first person to make a match, and she immediately goes for the jugular and
Devin.
picks Devin.
This is her big chance to make a move.
Yeah, you think yeah, that's a good point. It was a big chance to make a move, and I feel like if I was in the case, wouldn't you want to be the one to take out Devin?
Well, my thought with it as I was watching was, if you go and you lose, everyone should have picked Devin because he's going to just be physically tired by the time he's on the third and fourth competition, where he's not going to be able to think as much and flip the dice because you have to push and jump at the same time.
Yeah.
So there was still some physical aspects to it. Plus, he's not the smartest. So I feel like him getting tired would mean he'd be mentally and physically tired and eventually just lose.
Ronnie, what did you think
Yeah.
about Christine going bold for Devin right off the bat?
Well, I think that's good. I agree with what you said. I mean, when you want someone out, and if they are someone like Devin that's a physical person, I think, it's just smart to try and push them as far as you can push them to try and get them out quicker.
Keep working,
It's what I would have done
keep
in my
working, keep riding
physical
him.
wrestle. I could have done it to him.
Well, unfortunately for Christine, she didn't
She failed.
prevail. She failed. So that means Devin moves on in the competition, but then Derek goes and
And
he does the
fails.
same thing. Picks Devin
And fails.
and fails.
So, and this is where I got interesting because back to with the Derek and Donnie thing, because Donnie didn't give up his cards about what he was going to do, and you still weren't sure where his alliances were with Devin from before when they had the DD alliance,
Right.
and he picks Devin also.
Which I loved seeing because, like you said, the DD Alliance, they're going head to head. Derek's not really sure where Donnie's head's at, but wow, Donnie completely kicked some butt in
And
that
Donnie
veto.
has a hashtag now, Old Man Beatdown.
Old man beat down.
I loved that.
And then, since Donnie won, that means an automatic matchup between him and Caleb. And Donnie not only knocked out Devin from the veto, but also Caleb, the two guys in the house that seem to be the strongest.
The Beast Mode Janitor.
Beast Mode Janitor. Cowboy's out. Now it's Beast Mode Janitor. So Donnie wins Power of Veto. I was so excited. What did you think, Ronnie?
Well, I was excited, and I guess it's just because I look at it from this angle. If I were in that house, no matter how much I like Donnie, after he won these two vetoes, I'm a little worried for Donnie
I keep
because
saying that,
I
yeah.
would start thinking, maybe I ought to move him to the top of the list.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think people are, when we hear people talk about Donnie, though, it's not really because
Negative.
he's winning veto. It's because, we just need to
They
nominate
keep forgetting
someone.
that he's winning stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're thinking about how funny he is and,
And
how
how
nice he
likable.
is.
Yeah.
He's dangerous.
So he's doing something right.
For sure he is, totally. I just think he's one or two competition wins away from becoming number one on a lot of people's lists.
I agree.
Pretty quick. Yeah, he needs to slow down, I think, and maybe just sit back for a week or two. So.
Well, immediately after he wins, he goes into the house and checks on Jocasta and tells her she's not going anywhere.
Oh.
And of course, Jocasta's
Balls.
tears start flowing. And
James, was this your favorite part of the show, though, also? Because then Cody came in and did a little striptease.
I loved every part of that moment. But it was ruined with Frankie being there. I'm not going to lie. That was kind of a buzzkill. Because why is Frankie crying? There's no reason for you to be crying. And I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan of Frankie.
We are aware how you feel about Frankie. But you know, he's still playing a pretty good game. He's like enough involved, but enough on the side that he could drift for a while, but still, you know.
But everyone's catching on to it. And Ronnie, you watch the feed, so aren't people kind of putting Frankie on their radar?
They were. Like, okay, whenever Zach got nominated last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
The love affair between Frank and Zachy was over, and Zach was over. I mean, Frankie was throwing Zach under the bus.
Yeah.
And people on Twitter were going crazy. But I gotta be honest, I'm a little impressed with how quickly Frankie has flip-flopped that, and now people aren't talking about Frankie so much.
Quickly forgotten.
You know what? I think with Frankie, too, I don't want people to think I dislike him as a human being. For me, as a fan of the show and watching TV, he's only there because of Ariana Grande being his sister. He's only there because apparently he has all these YouTube followers and subscribers or whatever. But I feel like every time he's in the diary room or we hear him talk or he's doing something on the show, it's all for show. I want to know Frankie as Frankie, and I'm still, as a viewer, not getting that. I'm not knowing who Frankie is as a human being. I always just know him as Ariana's brother. I'm a YouTube personality. Well, like, take the pink out of your hair. Stop wearing all these costumes and just be Frankie. Just be Frankie.
Sure.
So, I mean, I think because he is a YouTube personality, it's all for show.
He's a personality, exactly. Which I guess is interesting then, based on the people in the house. That means that Devin, because we've seen so much of Devin, he's an emotional roller coaster, that he would be the most likable as, watching the show because of that. Like, we hate him so much, but we like that we hate him.
Right, because he's 100% himself.
Even if he's crazy, even if he needs meds, he's still, we like his ups and downs. That's why we watch reality TV shows. We want to see train wrecks.
Absolutely.
I don't want to see Victoria walking around, forget who she is. I want to see Devin doing crazy stuff.
That's true. As much as I dislike Devin, I agree. I agree completely. Well, the power veto ceremony happens, and it's not a surprise to anybody that Donnie chooses to save Jocasta. Jocasta obviously breaks down into tears. It's a waterworks show again. And that's when Derek puts Devin up on the block, which everyone was really relieved about. I loved seeing Caleb and Devin, two of the founders of the Bomb Squad, being nominated with each other.
I feel like it was win-win for everyone in the house.
Absolutely.
Like, it didn't matter with them debating about voting Caleb or voting Devin. Whoever, like, everyone won with one of them gone.
Yep.
Because they're so physical that they could go for a while.
What did you think, Ronnie, as a fan and a former player, Caleb and Devin being up on the block? What were your thoughts?
Well, I really liked seeing them both on the block, and it was as they say often many times, it was an easy week in the house at that point.
Sure.
Like you said, but they wanted both of them gone for different reasons. But I'm sorry, I would have, if I'd been in there, I would have really campaigned to vote out Caleb over Devin.
I agree. Because you're not going to get him up there again without backdooring him. And Devin doesn't have any friends right now, really. I mean,
absolutely.
Zach and Cody were maybe thinking about being there for him, but big picture, it's not going to be hard to get him back up on the block because people will be down for it. So Caleb, it's going to be hard if he gets voted and nominated. He's physical, so if there's some kind of competition for that, he could pretty much win. And
we saw also, like you said, Devin said, "I want to go home," and he meant it. It wasn't like just him saying crap. He really meant it, and he said, he even said on the feeds, "This place isn't what I thought it would be. I don't like it here. I feel like I'm not the best person. I feel like it brings out bad parts of me." He said all these things.
Yeah.
So I would have voted out Caleb and then put him right back on Slop the very next.
Yeah, right. Ride him out and
his
run
head
him down
for air and then shoving it right back down.
Yeah, just torture him because he'll give up and he won't compete and he'll just go home and he's an easy out then.
Yeah, and not only are we weighing out the pros and cons between Caleb and Devin, we saw tonight, jumping into tonight's episode, right off the bat, Cody's gunning for Caleb or considering Caleb being more of a liability in the game over Devin. So for a while there, I mean, it looked like Caleb might be getting majority of the votes in tonight's eviction. I want to talk about the intro to this episode tonight with Julie when she said one is obsessed with power, the other is obsessed with the girl, and one of them is going to leave because of their obsession. I thought that was hysterical.
Perfect.
It kind of summed them both up in a
nutshell.
In a nutshell.
So actually, I have a question, Ronnie. So in relation to your game in this week's episode, we saw with you in your brain click you were basically crossing over alliances with the athletes, and that pretty much is what did you in on the show. Did you see the immediate fault with Devin when he started making all these alliances?
Well, of course. He, what's really funny is, wasn't he, Devin, in the first week saying, I don't want too many alliances, and he ended up making the most to think of anyone? But, yeah, I mean, you do what you think is best in there, although he really went heavy-handed.
Yeah, I think he burned too fast, too hard, all the above, so he kind of did himself in too early.
Well, continuing with tonight's episode, we see Caleb continuing to be creepy over Amber by putting the blankets on her, and it's just like, okay, Caleb, enough is enough.
And don't forget Hayden and Nicole. And
I was going to say, on a positive showman side, we see Hayden and Nicole, and I think it's adorable. I'm ready, and I want it to happen.
They're children to me.
I want Nicole to get a kiss. I want Nicole to get kissed.
Watching them on on Sunday when they're in the hammock the first time, and then today in the bed, I feel like they're like 12-year-old kids who are together for the first time. Like, they are excited about holding hands.
Do you like their little showmance that they have going on, Ronnie?
I see. Generally speaking, I don't like showmances, but I like their showmance, and I tell you why. And I've said this on Twitter. It feels organic. It feels real. It doesn't feel forced or fake.
Good word. I like that. I agree.
I agree, but I'm going to also disagree in an aspect of, I feel like this is Hayden taking advantage of an opportunity that he's like. I feel like Nicole's kind of out of his league in terms of the girls he probably dates. Like, just judging him.
That's probably true, actually.
Judging him by the way he looks. However, Nicole is a very like emotional and like needy person, and there's no one else there.
They both kind of seem like misfitty to me.
Yeah,
they're both kind of misfits
misfitty, but they're totally misfitty in a different way. Like, I feel like if I looked at Hayden and prejudged him living in Long Beach and being the biker guy, he probably just like hangs out and is like, dude. And I feel like Nicole is very like sheltered and like lives with her family and her, little small town. Yeah, and like it's a different misfit type of personality, and they would never in real life end up together. Like, they would never have anything organically created, but because they're forced together, we're seeing it.
Yeah. That was
but
one
that's
thing.
The magic of Big Brother.
Yeah, that's right. The house.
I loved their little showmance. I just want to quickly talk about Donnie's segment before we talk about the eviction and wrap up. But I loved everything about Donnie's segment tonight with his parents and how they said we don't watch the show because it comes on too late, and that they're just not interested in those types of shows. I loved it. I thought it was great.
That is funny.
Donnie's parents are adorable, and if America could fall in love with Donnie anymore,
they did. They did it. That's what they did for America. And there's two other things too. The have and have not thing.
Yes, that's huge.
They haven't really talked about have and have nots much lately. They brought it back in. It's off for the week, but it's going to be based on activity, which we actually talked about last week, and that was our prediction as to
what do you think about that, Ronnie? As like
activity.
The activity thing.
Okay, I have mixed feelings about this because I guess it stems from me not really fundamentally understanding what the bracelets do exactly. Like I don't. You already watched so much in that house. I feel like I don't know how I would feel about being watched like that. Like, what do the bracelets do? Did they just measure steps?
A movement,
do they measure your
guess.
actual activity?
Yeah. I think they're probably heart rate monitors and like. So if you look at the change in your heart rates and that kind of stuff. And
there's some bad things that happen in that house. That might be suspicious.
Which hand is it on?
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see in the weeks to come how the activity points are going to come into play, how people are going to react to it, because it's going to be a new element to the game that we haven't seen on the show previously. But tonight...
Yeah, I think that's what's exciting to me.
Yeah, something new.
That's new.
Expect the unexpected.
But what was most exciting to me is the moment I've been waiting for since the very first week when we learned how crazy Devin was, is that he went home in a unanimous decision.
Yep. That's the second unanimous vote in the house.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. It's quite an ego blow to go unanimously.
Yeah, and then once he walked out the door, all the house guests celebrated by the
They
memory
were celebrating, yeah. They weren't sad like they have been the last couple of weeks. They were jumping
like, thank
up.
God he's out of here.
He's free, we can breathe again.
Yeah. Hayden screamed, "We can breathe."
Yeah, we can breathe again.
Breathe. And I tweeted, "My God, they act like Devin beat them mercilessly every day."
What is he, the tyrant is dead or what?
Well, Ronnie, it'll definitely be interesting to see who wins HOH on Sunday night. I know that I'm excited to find out who it is. Thank you so much for calling in tonight.
So I don't know if you saw the live feed who won or not, but do you have a pick on who wins HOH based on the pairings?
I actually tweeted my pick, and I know whether that pick was accurate or not because I do know who won.
Well, tell me what your pick was.
My pick was Cody and Frankie.
I said Cody and Frankie or Amber and Zach were the two that I thought had the best chance based on the pairings and the challenge it was.
And about that, and the reason why I picked them is, and I said this on Twitter, is that competition, it's chicken wire.
Right.
So those people with skinny, long fingers.
That's exactly what I said. Cody and Frankie.
I have huge hands and very stocky fingers.
Yep.
So no way.
When you saw Victoria couldn't even
ever invite back and that happens, I'm not winning.
Victoria couldn't even get her hand to catch the egg because her hand was so short. So like the small hands didn't do well on the wire. So
long, slender, flexible fingers.
Hey, before we go and do predictions, we got to do the this week's Team America assignment. They have to basically try to get people to put up a physical threat on the block.
Yeah. That'll be interesting. I was hoping for the floater because I'm ready to see
me too. I want to see a floater go also.
But Ronnie, where can our fans watch you and follow you?
I'm on Twitter at Ronnie Talbott, and that's where I spend
And that's
a lot of
Ronnie
time.
with 2 N's and Talbot with 2 T's, right?
Yes, it sure is.
Thank you so much for staying up and calling in, Ronnie. It was so good to talk to you.
Enjoy those cookies.
And I look forward to keeping the conversation going with you on Twitter.
All right, sounds good. Talk to you guys later.
Bye, Ronnie. Alrighty, well, we are actually running out of time, so we can't do predictions.
Thanks for being here.
But we will tweet our predictions, so make sure to follow us. Ryan, where can they follow
you?
you?
They can find me at RyanHooks92 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat.
And you can find me on Twitter at James Wallington and on Instagram at Mr. James Wally. And next week, hopefully we'll have Keaton back in the studio.
Keaton will be back in the house.
And
she'll be no longer wayfaring.
Yes, and so make sure to follow us on Twitter and see what our
Francisco, we miss
tonight.
You. Enjoy your trip.
Yes. Have a great week, you guys. We'll see you next Thursday.
See you later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.